sent out of that game for the Whitecaps in the top of the 8th inning.
Yep, very close game, as you mentioned, 4-3, and what could be a very big game at this point as Brewster trying to stay at least a win ahead of Harwich, but if they lose, the Mariners win, they're going to be tied in wins, and Harwich should just be 1 point back of them.
That'll bring Tyler Keenan up to the dish. First pitch he sees is going to miss high and outside. Another update for you across the league. The Bourne Braves are in a slugfest with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Right now, that game is 8-7 Braves. So Bourne trying to maintain their lead and get back to a 500 record on the day. This one's going to be slapped into the gap in right center field. A diving attempt, and he didn't come up with it. So rounding first and holding up is Tyler Keenan, but an excellent effort by Ward out there in center field as he ran about 10-15 steps to his right, made a full extension dive and knocked it down, but couldn't get it on the inside pocket of the glove.
Yeah, that ball kept cutting and cutting and cutting back towards center field. Ward with an all or nothing effort. He was actually able to trap that ball and keep it in front of him. Had that ball gotten by him, might have been some serious trouble, and Keenan could have ended up on second or even worse, third.
So it was a good start for Cole Stetzer, but he gives up a single here with one away. See how he responds. The infield will go to double play depth, and the first pitch to Hal Hughes will miss high for ball one. Stetzer comes to the ready, the 1-0 pitch. That one's going to be hit out into shallow left field. Coming out as the shortstop, he'll take about 9 steps onto the outfield grass and make the catch for out number 2. So we go back to the top of the order. It'll be Dylan Noisy, who made an excellent catch to end the inning back in the 5th. He comes in here with a bat in his hand, and so far today, he's 1 for 3. Had an RBI single back in the 2nd inning. Other than that, a couple of flyouts, both to right field. So he's been hitting it the other way. Check swing off the bat. Update from the Brewster Whitecaps writer. It looks like the game is going to end after 8 innings due to darkness, after the Brewster Whitecaps bullpen blew a 3-0 lead. So that's a huge boost here for the Mariners, who, if they can close things out, are right back in the mix. As this pitch is fouled away by Dylan Noisy.
And there also is, I think, some threatening weather on the way. A couple of scattered storms heading towards the eastern part of the Cape, including our way. But as long as this game ends before, I would say, 9 o'clock, should be able to finish this one in its entirety. Well, technically its entirety, because, of course, it's a 7-inning game.
So the 0-2 pitch on its way. That one's going to miss down in the dirt, and count is 1-2 here on Dylan Noisy. And again, one of the other consistencies that we brought up, Harwich comes into this game 5-1 in games that go less than 9 innings. And coming in at 0-5 are the Wareham Gatemen. They've only lost 9 games this year. Over half of those have come in games under the regulated 9, as this one misses low and away, and the count is even at 2-2 on Dylan Noisy. Noisy stands in. Coming to the ready here is Stetzer, 2-2. That one's going to be ripped into left field. It's going to be back to the wall, and making the catch out there in left is Antico to end the inning. So the Mariners get a couple on. No runs score, and we'll head on to the 6th inning now, just needing 6 more outs to finish this one as the Mariners look for back-to-back victories here on the Harwich Radio Network. Welcome back to White House Field. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey. I'd like to remind you that today's game is brought to you by Milton Cat. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
So Blake Espinal heading back out for essentially his third inning of work. He came in with nobody out back in the top of the fourth. And so he's given up 3 earned. He had a tough start in the fourth, giving up that 3-run home run to Matt McLean, the only offense today from the Wareham Gateman. But he had a pretty solid 5th inning, just a walk, and faced only 4 batters. And so Adrian Del Castillo will lead things off in the 6th for the Gateman. Espinal, the lefty, against the left-handed bat of Del Castillo. And that one misses outside. Adrian 0 for 2 with a run scored. He flew out to center in the 2nd, reached on a fielder's choice, came around to score in the 4th. Hits this ball hard on the ground to 2nd. Fedko gloves it. Quick throw on to Cavadas, and Del Castillo is quickly retired, 1 down in the top of the 6th.
A couple arms up in the bullpen out there for the Harwich Mariners, so we'll see whether or not they let Espinal go the distance here today. But, you know, again, a 7-run lead to protect. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Caden O'Brien, the one throwing in the pen, the lefty. We'll see if he makes an appearance at all in this one. But in steps Matt McLean, who in his last at-bat hit an absolute shot over the left field fence, a 3-run home run that at the time cut the lead in half to 6-3, but the Mariners responded with 4 of their own in the home half of the 4th inning. And McLean's first pitch that he sees is over for a strike. Relatively quiet day at the plate for the Gatemen after putting up 15 runs the night before. That's in the dirt.
Got to spread them out. That's what happens when you use them all up in a single game like that. They went all in against Orleans and came here, ran out of gas.
And how about the Hyannis Harbor Hawks rallying with a 5-run 4th inning to take a lead 9-8 in the 5th? As the 1-1 misses just outside. That game taking place in Hyannis, and I believe there are lights there, so I think they'll be able to finish that one up.
Yeah, I'm just rooting for chaos at this point. I mean, let's make it competitive out there in the West between one of these two teams.
That game only going 7 innings. It is the second half of their doubleheader. 2-1 misses low and inside, so it's a 3-1 count to McLean, who looks to reach base for the 2nd time in this game.
Of course, the battle between Brewster and Harwich has seen 19 combined wins, while the battle between Bourne and Hyannis has seen just 11.
So a much easier path to the playoffs in the West, as there's ball 4 for McLean. So on a borderline pitch, Espinal unable to get the call, and 1-out base runner for the Gatemen.
Yep, another walk here for Blake Espinal. He issued one in the 5th, issued one back in the 4th as well. So a walk-in inning here for him. And, man, he looked really good through his first couple of outings, but after that it's been a bit shaky as he's posted a 7.7 ERA through 4 2/3 this season. 6 strikeouts to just the 1 walk coming into this game. And he has now given up 8 earned runs.
Infield double play depth with the designated hitter Dallas Beaver at the plate, and Espinal will make a quick throw over to first. Beaver with a couple of strikeouts in this game, and he was 1 for 3 in game number 1. The runner at first, McLean, with a decent lead. Espinal comes home, and it's a broken bat, splintered. Cavadas makes the play. He's just going to go to first for the sure out, and up to 2nd is McLean. So after the broken bat, it's a runner on 2nd with 2 down in the 6th.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. Getting the sure one, and now you can focus on getting just the 1 out at first. So 2 away, trying to close out the inning here for Blake Espinal.
So it will be shortstop Benjamin Sems, who has reached base twice in this game, both times via a walk. Also picked up a steal back in the 3rd inning. So Sems out of Kansas University will face Espinal, and Espinal looking to complete his 3rd inning of work. First pitch is a ground ball up the middle. Fedko's been busy this inning. Makes a throw, and it is well wide. and a run's going to end up scoring. A strange play is Christian Fedko, who looked like he cleanly picked that ball up, and then the throw went towards Cavadas, and he didn't even move. I don't know if it's because that ball was so out of reach or what, but a run does score, and that makes it 10-4 Harwich.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that Cavadas was going to be able to do about that. That throw was so far off the mark, so a very strange miscue there, and that'll bring Mike Antico up to the plate here. He's 0 for 2 today.
So Sems reaches on the error, and coming in to score is McLean. That'll be an unearned run for Espinal. And jammed on the first pitch that he sees is Mike Antico, and he fouls it straight back.
Yep, Harwich right now still just 4 outs away from closing this one down, and the lead's been trimmed here to 6, but still a big gap here. Mariners have set themselves up.
It's again 10-4, the Mariners leading and trying to sweep a doubleheader for the second time this year at home. The other coming against the West in Falmouth. The 0-1 misses up and in for a ball, 1-1. There was also another doubleheader scheduled against YD, but because of the rainout, those games have now been moved to 2 separate dates, including this coming Monday, where the Mariners will head to DY High School and take on the Red Sox. The 1-1. And it's over for a strike to make it 1-2 to Antico.
Yep, they'll be looking for another win against the East here as they've finally broken that dry spell. 1-7 against the East so far this year. 8-5 against the West. If this holds up, that'll be 9-5 and a chance to make it 10-5 tomorrow at Falmouth.
Mariners also looking to get some revenge against YD after losing 3-1 in their first meeting. There's a pop-up heading our way out of play, and it will clear the press box. It looked like it was heading right on top of us.
Yep, could have bounced there in the little gap. We've got about a 4-inch, actually it's more than that. It's about a 3 to 4 foot gap between us and the fence out there, the netting, but still a 1-2 count here. Espinal just looking for one more strike to put the inning out of reach.
Lights have been on for quite some time with the overcast skies, but darkness starting to set in here in Harwich. 1-2 to Antico. The pitch from Espinal. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and Rothenberg places the tag for good measure, and that will end the inning. So, Wareham gets another run, but they still trail 10-4 to the Mariners. We're through 5.5. Stay tuned for the finish. You are listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. So Cole Stetzer heads back out for the Gateman. So he pitches his second inning in this one in the bottom of the 6th. He will be greeted by a pinch hitter in Chris Lanzilli, who will pinch hit for Joey Weimer after Weimer reaching base 3 times in this game, driving home a couple of runs. So Chris will get an opportunity. He started game 1 over at first base.
I think they were worried that if they left Joey Weimer in there, he was going to light the field on fire with how hot he's been hitting today.
So the first pitch to Chris is ripped down the left field line and deep. Going back at the wall, it one-hops the wall. Rounding first and heading into second is Chris Lanzilli. And how about the production out of the two-hole in this game? The pinch hitter, Chris Lanzilli, picks up right where Joey Weimer left off. It's a leadoff double to begin the sixth for the Mariners.
I mean, Chris Lanzilli came into this doubleheader not having had a hit since the last game they played against Wareham in mid-June. He's already had 2 of them today, and a big-time double here to start the inning off. He could potentially come around to score another insurance run here.
So Stetzer will try to recover here and get a quick first out, but he will be greeted by the heart of the lineup now in Daniel Cabrera, who in his last at-bat ripped the ball off the right field fence for a bases-clearing double, or triple, I should say. And he waves the first pitch for strike 1.
Yep, Cabrera's already 2 for 3.
Believe so.
Trying to improve upon an already pretty impressive day for him, at least here in this game. And he does seem to be feast or famine, but I'll tell you what, when it's a feast, everybody eats.
And out in front of that pitch and falling behind now is Cabrera 0-2. This guy's really darkening here over White House Field, and looks like there is rain on the way. But again, just a 7-inning game, so the Mariners trying to close this one out. Big swing and a miss for strike 3, and Cabrera goes down swinging for the second time in this one, and there is now 1 away.
Yep, but that'll bring Christian Fetko up, trying to avoid being 0 for in his outing. He's already 0 for 3. Trying not to backslide on that batting average number.
And the Bats have woken up in Hyannis as they follow up their 5-run bottom of the 4th with a 4-run bottom of the 5th. It is now 13-8 in what's going to be a 7-inning game in Hyannis. So the Harbor Hawks looking to make up some serious ground with a sweep against the Bourne Braves. The first pitch to Fedko's over for a strike.
Still 0-0 through 3 full innings at YD. So the Orleans Firebirds and YD Red Sox knotted up. Chatham Anglers have finished their game. They take a 5-3 victory over the Katuitt Cavaliers.
It looks like that game was called early due to darkness. And fouling that pitch off down the right field line is Fedko, as Katuitt not a field with lights.
Yeah, and the way they listed that game, it looked like it was actually at Chatham, but I'm guessing that game was in fact at Katuitt, as you mentioned. Lowell Park doesn't have lights.
0-2 the count to Fedko. Surprisingly, is 0 for 3 in this game. And not for long, as that ball is, and I spoke too soon, as that ball is ripped. And a nice sliding play by Darren Baker for out number 2. Is that ball looked like he was getting down, but great range by Baker, and he's able to make a sliding stop on the shallow outfield grass for out number 2.
Yep, so after getting the leadoff man aboard with a double, Chris Lanzilli is still standing over there on second, but Nico Cavadas comes up. He's reached in all 3 of his at-bats today. A 3-run homer back in the first, a double in the 4th, and walk back in the 3rd inning.
So Cavadas looking to add to his 4 RBIs in this one with a base hit, perhaps. That ball's in the dirt. Lanzilli with a decent secondary lead, but ball found quickly by Del Castillo. No advance from Chris. Mariners scheduled to play at Falmouth tomorrow, followed by another road game at Yarmouth Dennis. And Cavadas hits this ball a mile in the air out towards deep right center field. That ball carrying, going back, and it's going to get down. Extra bases for Cavadas. He's going to head for 3rd. He goes all the way in, and it is a stand-up triple for Nico Cavadas, and he's now a single shy of the cycle.
I was about to say, he's done the hard parts. It's just the base hit that he still needs, and at this point, I'm not 100% sure he's going to have another chance to get it, but what a performance out of Nico Cavadas today. Boy.
It is the 2nd triple of the game for the Mariners and the 5th RBI as Chris Lanzilli scores from 2nd on a ball that was hammered out to the deepest part of the ballpark in right center field. So now Mike Ludwig looking for his first hit in this one. He hits it out towards center field, coming in quickly and unable to make the play as a center fielder Ward. Cavadas scores, and that makes it 12-4 Mariners.
Should have been a routine play, but taking a few extra steps back there for whatever reason was Ward out in center, and he's unable to come in and make the play. And, well, when it rains, it pours, Colin. Harwich just continuing to lay it on thick.
Going to be an interesting ruling on that one if that's going to be a hit, because it did come down pretty low, awaiting on it, and they're going to give him an error for that one. So E8, the ruling, and an unearned run for there, but the second one home in the inning for the Mariners, and they hit the dozen mark for the first time this season.
Yep, and now everybody has reached base at least once. Ludwig and Fedko. Actually, except Fedko.
Fedko hoping for a two-out rally to get him another at-bat. He's still quite a ways away, and Mike Rothenberg will stand in. That ball misses outside 1-0.
So the Mariners have racked up 13 hits, 12 runs as they're up 12-4 here in the home half of the sixth.
Waved at and missed is Rothenberg. And Tyler, this game a lot different than the first game, as it was a pitcher's duel with Tyler Polish coming out on top with a complete game shutout. Now all of a sudden it's just been all offense, mainly for the Mariners. And there's a chopper over the pitcher's head. Baker will try to make the play. Has trouble getting out of his glove and has dropped it first. Baker did make a good throw, and Teeter unable to hang on to it. That's going to be back-to-back errors on the gateman.
Yeah, I mean, Wareham just can't catch a break right now. That's going to be another error, and runners at first and second here. And again, Colin, 2-out hitting as Nico Cavadas' double came with 2 away, and then the back-to-back errors here. So that'll bring Tyler Keenan up. He's also reached in every single at-bat today. A hit, a walk, and another base hit back in the 5th. And I'm sure he'd love another one here.
It seems like every game the Mariners play, their opponents really struggle defensively as that ball gets away briefly from the catcher. As the last time the Mariners played a team that did not commit an error throughout the game, you'll have to go all the way back to Orleans on June 30th. So defense not a strong suit for the recent opponents for the Harwich Mariners. 2 on for Keenan, and he takes a pitch high to make it 2-0. Keenan has reached base 3 times, coming around to score twice. He had the first game off as it was Cavadas at third. Cavadas now going over to first, and Keenan taking his spot. 2-0, that ball's hit well out towards left center field. That's going to get down. 1 run will score, coming into third and stopping as looks like Ludwig is going to score and Rothenberg's up to third, and what an absolute bomb out towards left center field for Keenan. He's going to pick up an RBI.
Number 19, the shortstop from LSU.
So they just keep coming and coming. Another hit here for Tyler Keenan. It's going to be
so with a couple runners in scoring position and 2 away, it's going to be Hal Hughes with an RBI opportunity. He's 1 for 3 in this one, singled to right. But yeah, that's going to be another RBI, the first for Keenan in his 3rd hit. An RBI double as that pitch is in for a strike. A lot of extra base hits in this one for the Mariners as they have now scored 13 runs on 14 hits. Hughes with a high chopper, going to be a tough play for the third baseman, but over is McLean, and the throw is finally in time to end the inning. But the Mariners add on to their tremendous lead. It is now 13-4 as we head to the top half of the final frame. Once again, you're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. head to the top half of the final frame of this doubleheader, and the Mariners are 3 outs away from clinching a sweep over the Wareham Gatemen. They lead at 13-4 in this second game, and coming in to pitch the final inning, it's going to be Caden O'Brien, the lefty out of UNC, and Tyler, it looks like O'Brien's going to get another opportunity to pitch in kind of a game where the outcome's already been decided.
Yeah, and also getting a chance to pitch in some weather conditions, as we've had some rain here. It didn't feel like Cape Cod baseball, but the rain makes us feel quite welcome here. So a season that has featured an awful lot of precipitation, but Caden O'Brien comes on to close things out, needing just 3 more outs to close this one. And again, the Harwich Mariners looking for a big bounce back coming into today. They needed a boost, and this seems to be exactly what the doctor ordered, as they could potentially sweep the top team in the West and get back to their winning ways, and as an added benefit, be just 1 point behind the Brewster Whitecaps.
Very productive day for the Mariners indeed, and they just need to record 3 more outs. It'll be the 9-1 and 2 hitters as Matthew Rudick, who is 0 for 1 with a walk in this game, stands in. O'Brien's first pitch is at the knees for a called strike.
Caden O'Brien, of course, a fastball and a changeup, but he's working on a curveball and a cutter, and we've seen an awful lot of those 2 pitches during his time here in the Cape.
The lefty from the windup, and the 0-1 misses low. 13 runs on 14 hits for the Mariners. 4 runs on just 2 hits for the Gatemen, and they committed 3 errors, which allowed several unearned runs scoring, 4 in total. And that pitch misses outside.
And night has kind of fallen quickly here over the Cape as the rain clouds came in. Earlier it was like somebody took one of the light sliders and just dropped it down.
2-1 to Rudick is fouled straight back. So the Mariners are in line to pick up their 10th victory of the season. Once again, that will tie them with Brewster in terms of win total, but the Whitecaps do have a tie, so for the time being, that will put them just a half a game ahead for that final playoff spot.
Yeah, the Whitecaps also featuring a few fewer losses.
2-2 pitch is swung on, hit down the left field line. That will drop into fair territory, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Matthew Rudick. The throw comes wildly in, and the rain coming down once again, and some cheers coming from the Wareham Gatemen, as not a lot to cheer for in this game, but it's a leadoff double to begin the top half of the 7th.
Yep, a good way to start is you mentioned the rain comes pouring down, and I think that's part of the reason the throw was so wild from Weimer out on the left, or actually from Lanzilli out on the left.
It seems like the rain just kind of comes for about 15 to 20 seconds, and then it just dissipates. It seems like it kind of just disappeared again. So with a man on second, nobody out, O'Brien looking to just get 3 more outs and put a stamp on this one. Braden Ward, who is 0 for 2 with a walk, swings the first pitch and pops it up foul out of play. Ward went 6 for 6 yesterday in a night game against the Orleans Firebirds. Not nearly as successful today, with 0 for 5 across both games with just a walk and 4 strikeouts. O'Brien's 0-1 is a long arcing curveball that misses outside. One ball, 1 strike. As games across the Cape trying to wrap up with inclement weather. Score remains 13-8 in Hyannis. 1-1 is fouled straight back. And as you mentioned, a couple of games called due to darkness. 5-3, the Anglers with a victory over the Kettleers, and Falmouth Commodores with a 4-3 victory over the Brewster Whitecaps, a game in which the Whitecaps manager was tossed from this game. The 1-2. Late on that one is Ward, and it is foul off to the left.
Yep, so ultimately just barely getting a piece of that one as Caden O'Brien continues to look for a strikeout here.
Rudick on second, nobody out in the top of the 7th. Mariners working with a 9-run advantage with 4 innings of 3+ runs in this 7-inning affair. 1-2 is in there for a called strike three and a nasty looking breaking ball by O'Brien as Ward goes down looking for out number 1 in the 7th.
Yep, there it is. So that'll be out number 1, only needing 2 more. It'll be the top of the order as they try to get it off against Darren Ward with the strikeout. Now Darren Baker coming up to bat.
So O'Brien, after the leadoff double, fights back with a strikeout looking, and now he gets Baker. Darren Baker, 0 for 2 in this game as he struck out looking, walked, and came around to score and reached on a fielder's choice. The first pitch is outside for a ball.
Fans still sticking around. Many have run for cover. Some are grabbing umbrellas here, and we try to close this one out. Just 2 outs away from finishing up.
Still some drizzles here and there, but not too much rain at the moment. There's a fly ball out towards center field as Dylan Noisy comes in to make the catch for out number 2.
So just 1 more out left to get. It'll be Jacob Teeter coming up, who today is 1 for 3, a base hit, a strikeout, and a flyout.
Number 22, the first baseman.
So the runner, Rudick, still on second, and it'll be Teeter. So Teeter, 1 for 3. That pitch misses in the dirt. Teeter's single back in the 4th actually chased Joe Boyle from the ball game. So Boyle not going the distance to earn himself a win. It looks like the win will be charged to Blake Espinal. Pitched 3 innings out of the pen himself. And there's a strike to make it 1-1.
How about that? He took everything off of that pitch. That may be the slowest off speed we've seen all season long.
Joe Boyle looking pretty strong in his first start. Kind of ran out of steam towards the end. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. And speaking of looking strong, after giving up the leadoff double, Caden O'Brien's been very tough to hit since then. And he's 1 strike away from securing a Mariners doubleheader sweep. Rudick on second, 1-2 count. Long look in by O'Brien from the stretch. He comes to the belt. 1-2 to Teeter. Comes inside and just misses grazing his uniform, and that'll even the count.
Apparently a little further west, it is absolutely pouring rain out in Hyannis. That game is currently in a rain delay, but the Harbor Hawks do lead 13-8.
Wouldn't be surprised if that is all for that game, given the part of the game it is and how late it's getting. The 2-2. Breaking ball, almost like an ephus, the way that one came in.
That's what I'm saying. It's so slow. I mean, he's taken all the speed off of it, and it's got some good movement to it. If he could locate, I mean, it's a fun pitch to have. You can definitely catch guys off guard with it, but you got to be careful throwing that thing, or you might get that taken over the wall.
Full count now. O'Brien's pitch. Ground ball towards second. Playing it is the shortstop Hughes, the long throw, and it is in time, and the ball game is over. So the Harwich Mariners take 2 against the Wareham Gatemen, the top team in the West, and they end this doubleheader with an exclamation point. Final score in game number 2, it is Harwich 13 and Wareham 4. Take a quick break and wrap things up from Harwich, and once again, you've been listening to the Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back one last time to White House Field after a long day of baseball. The Mariners are winners of 2 games as they win both 7-inning doubleheader games against the Wareham Gatemen. The latter of which, final score in that one being 13-4 Harwich. And the Mariners, Tyler, took care of business once again against the West. They improved to 9-5 on the year against Western opponents, and definitely a couple of wins that they really need, especially coupled with a Brewster loss.
Yeah, I was going to say, most importantly, Brewster takes the loss, so that's going to put Harwich at 19 points on the season, just 1 behind the Whitecaps, and things feel a lot more manageable here for Harwich after this game. And an interesting thing of note, yesterday, the win goes to Wareham by a total score of 15-4. Today, if you combine the 2 scores from the doubleheader, Harwich outscores the Wareham Gatemen 4-15, but they get 2 wins out of the deal in a doubleheader and advance on the season, as you mentioned, to 10-12.
So these 2 teams will play one last time later in the season at Wareham, and the Mariners will go for the season sweep, currently 3-0 against the Wareham Gatemen. And the Mariners, with a win in the second game, improved to 10-12 on the season. With the second loss, the Gatemen fall to 11-10-1. It was 13 runs on 13 hits for the Mariners. They committed 1 error while stranding 5 runners on base. For the Gatemen, 4 runs on 3 hits, 3 abysmal errors that led to a total of 4 unearned runs. They also left 5 on base like the Mariners. Win in this game actually goes to Joe Boyle, who only went about a little over 3 innings, but because he was on a innings pitch limit, there's an exception, so he is given the win in this one. He improves to 1-1 on the season. The loss goes to Michael Webb, who was roughed up, only going 2 innings, giving up 6 earned on 7 hits, and only recording 1 strikeout, no save in this one. And the Mariners, once again, with a 13-4 victory in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Harwich will head to Falmouth tomorrow as they are scheduled to take on the Commodores, and then follow that up on Monday with another road game at YD. Well, for all of us here at the Harwich Mariners broadcast booth, for our producer Matt Lucy, for my broadcast partner Tyler Henry, I'm Colin Casey. Thanks for joining us for a long day of Harwich Mariners baseball. Once again, the final score in game number 2. The Mariners come away victorious 13-4, and we will see you tomorrow in Falmouth when the Mariners take on the Commodores. So long, everybody.